Hey guys, Drifter here. Welcome to part 2 of Epic Dream You Only Live Twice. If you haven't seen part 1, I highly recommend you check it out so that you know what's going on. Gameplay wise, I'm using a silenced red dot or blue dot SA-805, and I don't play very well in the beginning of this map. I do terrible, as a matter of fact, but then I go on a very good comeback, good spree, good kill death ratio, most captures, very good PTFO. So what starts off as bad gameplay shows me struggling through adversity and becomes good gameplay, which is relevant to what we're talking about here because I struggled through quite a lot of adversity in this story. So let's resume to where I'm at. I have just revealed myself, the now undead zombified me, to the living people whom I saved in the subway tunnel, and the first question that I get is, what are you? But more of a scream, though I don't want to scream at you guys here. That rest in peace headphone users, just like rest in peace me. And I don't know what I am. I mean, I know that I'm dead. I know that I'm not alive, but I am still sentient and thinking, and I would like to think of myself as a person, maybe. But all I can do is take in a deep, dying, dead man's gasping breath and answer, I don't know. I don't know who I am. I don't know what I am. Lots of questions. How did I get here? When did I die? Who was I with? I try to answer to the best of my abilities, but it's very difficult. I can't speak much. I have to suck air into my lungs that don't work properly to talk and enunciate with a numb tongue. It's very difficult. I can tell they're struggling to hear me. Lots and lots of questions. How did I die? I show them the bites. Where did I come from? I don't know. What's my name? I can't properly remember, but I'm able to give them enough details where they realized I went into the tunnel looking for food and I died. That's a synopsis of part 1. Then there's a discussion and argument over what to do with me. My proposal is that you let me live and I will help you escape this tunnel because I too wish to be free. Yet they disagree with me. Everybody sees something different. The blonde leader sees hope. He sees a cure. He sees a vaccine. He sees a way to reverse this process, or perhaps a super weapon to use against the zombies, a stealth, an insider, a traitor, something more practical, a tool. I'm a thing to him, definitely not a person. The larger Spanish fellow sees me as a threat. He wants me dead. He's not particularly comfortable with zombies as is, and the last thing he thinks we need is a smart zombie. The last thing we need is something that can talk, something that can understand English and plan and plot and manipulate and understand emotions. This is an extremely dangerous enemy. Having thousands or hundreds of thousands of undead that are stupid lemmings are dangerous enough just in quantity, but imagine 1,000 of me, smart, intelligent, and hungry. The bulldog, the short, squat, bald man, says nothing. He simply sits and grimaces and watches and thinks. He's not much of a talker, not a lot of words for this guy. I imagine he's seen some terrible things in his life and doesn't speak unless he needs to. Not that unlike myself, but that's probably just because my lungs don't work. And the girl, the one for whom I decided to save them all to begin with, the one that my undead heart pretends to beat, I wish I could will the heart to beat, but that's not something the brain could do, wants me dead. She really just wants to shoot me, not because she hates me, there is some regret, but she agrees that it's the safest decision and discusses shooting me with some tinge of remorse, but not a lot. The sad thing is that in this conversation, I'm constantly referenced as an it. I am not a person, it's not a he, it's not a she, it's not a zombie, it's it. It should do this, it could do that, it might be this. I'm a thing, unfortunately. I am not viewed as a person, which is very upsetting, but I can't, now is not a time to get butthurt. I'm just gonna roll with it. At the end of the argument, I offer to help them get out alive. They know that they're trapped in a pickle, and they know they can't really go anywhere because I heard them discussing my original offer, which I offered again. They can't go back up the ladder because they came in hot. There were lots and lots of zombies chasing them, and that's why they decided to go down to begin with. The idea was to go down and cut across or go down and wait it out, but they definitely can't go back up that way. So after much deliberation, they decide to use me as a weapon, as a tool to escape from this place, mostly at the behest of the blonde leader. So we have to come up with a plan. Of course, we can't go back the way we came because it's hot on the surface. There's no exit back there, even though the subway is relatively safe. And the only way out is to open the barricaded door, which we can now do as a group of people. We can lift the heavy things, move forward through the tunnel, kill the 100, maybe 200, hopefully not 1,000 zombies. It's a risky plan, definitely. And then push forward through the darkness and find a different exit open somewhere. Definitely hopeful. What's behind us is definitely not hope. It's dead, it's cold, and it's like a prison. A very musty, dusty, dark, and scary prison down here in this subway. Like all good plans, it's easier said than done. Execution is a mess. The larger Spanish fellow and I unblock the barricade and open the door very quickly. A whole stampede of zombies come through, but we planned for this. My goal was to stand in the way, spread them out, thin them out, slow them down, and kill as many as possible. And as some do slip past me, they move on to others, and others knock them down 1, 2, 3 at a time, not shooting down here, saving our bullets for ourselves, not for me because I'm already dead. But they begin to hit and pound and punch in the head over and over and over, but there's so many of them. There's just so many, and I keep killing. Is there more than 100? Is this 200? Is this 300? And so many more keep slipping past me. So many that I can't quite keep up with. Left, right, trip. Don't trip yourself. Even though they're not trying to attack me, they don't even recognize me as a threat, but if I fall over, they'll walk all over me. They'll crush me like a stampede of cattle. It's a very dangerous position to be in, and eventually we keep on fighting and fighting, and so many slip past me. I hear a scream, only to look over and see the blonde man, whose decision it was to save my life, getting chomped on up close and personal. He's trying to push one away, but 2 and 3 and more pile on, and the weight goes down, and his arms just can't quite bench press all of that, and it gets close to take out a chunk of eyebrow, but not before I can smash 2 in the head, pull the other one off, and with my hand smash it head first into the wall, crush the skull, brain, all that sort of stuff. There's only one proper way to kill a zombie, but it's too late. He's missing a chunk of meat right above his eyeball, and I know, just like everybody else, this causes an infection. Some people it's a couple hours, some people it's a couple of days, but it gets everybody eventually. It's fatal, and he's going to come back, but that doesn't deter him. Very stubborn fellow. He gets back up and keeps fighting, and we keep on fighting and fighting and fighting what seems like forever, and when we're knee deep in the dead, where I'm walking all over bodies, my baseball bat is covered with dust and bone and has teeth in it, and we're all exhausted and sweaty and running out of air down here in the subway, there's nothing left going on. The last person swinging is the larger Spanish fellow, who swings to smash a zombie against the wall and then turns to swing at me, and he stops just last minute, just before he bashes my head in. He didn't recognize me as a friendly. I was still a threat in his eyes, but I didn't flinch. I just stood there and looked at him right in the eyeballs. Didn't move, didn't take a step forward, didn't take a step back, didn't try to block the bat. Curious, which isn't this person's type, he asked, "Why didn't you move? Why didn't you flinch? You know I could have killed you." And the only answer I could give in my zombified form is that dying isn't so bad. It's not so bad to die, is it really? I'm already dead. All of us take a minute to cool down, and we go and take a look at the leader of this group. His whole face is covered with blood now. It's just bleeding everywhere. We get a bandage and tie it down, but we all know that he's going to turn soon. The only thing I can think to do is look at him and take in a deep breath of air and say, "You're running out of time. Time is running out for you." I need to get better at my voice. My zombie voice isn't very good. He's not very amused. He's not happy with this. Perhaps I shouldn't tease the only person keeping me alive in this gamble, or I guess undead would be a better way to say it. Now that the tunnel is clear, we all push forward. I lead. I have to keep my back to them for safety purposes. They keep their guns drawn on me. They don't have many bullets left, maybe not even enough to go around between all of them, but they want to make sure that I'm not going to turn and bash somebody in the head. I can't head up the back of the group because, well, that's not safe, now is it? Because I could just munch on somebody. And after a long time wandering in the darkness, we find another set of stairs, but unfortunately these stairs have another iron gate and another chain, just like in the previous episode. However, this group of people has mostly weapons, no general supplies, no bolt cutters. How in the hell do we get out of here? Well, thankfully, we take one of our melee weapons made of metal, can't exactly remember which one, not all the details are perfect, and we try the twist method. We just twist the chain, back and forth. We're going to stress this metal and twist and turn and pull and stretch all day, but unfortunately, this is a noisy process. But we keep it up, there's no other option, and there don't seem to be any zombies around, so we keep on going until out of nowhere we hear them in the darkness. We hear the footsteps first, and then the moans. They're coming from the other end of the tunnel, the part that we didn't push all the way down and through. There was something going on down there, lots and lots and lots of them. It is at this moment, when all of the zombies are coming, I begin to realize that if I wanted to, I could kill this group very easily. All I would need to do is stop helping, or maybe pretend to engage the zombies and join them. I mean, I don't need them anymore. I could open this gate myself. I could be free. I could get what I wanted. I could eat them too, and that would be pretty great because I'm hungry. But what would the girl think of me? The girl for which I saved them, I still don't want to kill her. I still want this girl. Maybe I'm a softy zombie, but that's That's what I want. That's my motivation. So I just decide, you know what? I better twist this chain faster. And with all of my undead strength, which thankfully allows me to not get tired, I twist, 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 bend, 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 bend. The metal gets softer, 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 hotter, and then finally pops. And we all run out of the subway into the daylight, which I haven't seen in many, many, many years. And it is very, very bright, blinding, blistering, hot light. It's almost like I can feel it on my skin, but I know that's an illusion. I can't feel much of anything anymore. It just remembering what it used to felt like, and a huge horde behind us. We all take off running. Unfortunately, I can't run as fast. I'm stiff, I'm dry and bony. I try to catch up with the group, but it's difficult. This time I am behind them, not because for safety reasons, but just because they want to get the hell out of there as fast as possible. Thankfully, they do slow down just a little bit for me, and we find some cover. We manage to ditch the horde and run into an abandoned hardware store, something like a Lowe's or a Home Depot with lots of supplies, lots of nice melee weapons to choose from. Building supplies aren't too useful, but the roof is partially fallen in, so at least we get some light. Wandering around the store, for the first time I see a mirror, and I see my face in the mirror. I haven't seen my own face in, I don't even know how long I was down there. I don't know how many years I was down there. I knew I was a zombie, but I had no idea what I looked like. It was jarring. It was scary, unnerving, unsettling. I was nearly skeletal. I definitely had my skin on me and some muscle, but it was very dry, wiry kind of muscle. I looked more like a mummy than a man. Still bright white teeth, which is weird because they're usually a little more yellow in real life. About the only thing on me that was normal looking were my eyes, which were somewhat liquid, which were still relatively normal and smushy. They weren't dry, which thank goodness. And they actually had color in them. I still retained my blue eyes. None of that weird, pale, milky eyes like the rest of the zombies. I wonder if that had anything to do with my particular mutation. I don't know, but I looked so completely evil looking. That white, pale, dry skin, so bony, so dry, so awful. And as this is occurring to me, just how evil I look and just how much these people must have had to have trusted me to let me help them, I hear the conversation behind me. It's been roaring the whole time, but I was distracted with self-realizations. The Spanish fellow has a gun pointed at my head from a distance, but it's still not a distance from which he would miss. He wants me dead, again, but this time he wants it right now. The leader is arguing with him, not pointing his gun, but yelling at him right in his face. He's yelling back. He wants me alive. The other guy wants me dead. The bulldog that I mentioned is sitting there saying nothing, and they're going back and forth and back and forth. The Spanish guy says, "I'm dangerous." The leader says, "I'm safe." And the bulldog pipes up and mentions that when the leader fell over in the subway, I looked at him hungrily. I had an expression on my face that looked like a ravenous dog, like I was ready to eat. And the girl turns to me, now realizing that I notice what's going on, and she asked me if I want to eat them. She asked me if I'm hungry like the rest of them. She asked me, why do they eat? Why do they eat? Why do they have to eat us? Why do they do anything at all? This is my moment of truth. This is the answer that will decide if they kill me or if they keep me, and I have a choice to lie. I can tell them that I don't feel this hunger, that I don't want to hurt them, or I can tell them the truth, which is that I feel hunger all the time, extreme amounts of hunger, and I would very much like to eat them, but I choose not to. I make the more moral choice, and I decide to tell the truth. I take my deep breath and say, always hungry. I am always hungry. To which she asked, why didn't you attack us? What do you... And the Spanish guy interrupts, is this part of your master plan? Do you want to follow us back to where we are and then bring the other zombies? Do you want them all to yourselves? The leader is asking, then if I'm hungry, why didn't you take a bite out of me as soon as you saw the blood? Why didn't I do anything? I didn't have great answers for these questions. They asked me why. Why didn't you kill us? And all I could do is point my bony finger at the girl and just say, her. Jaws dropped. You could see epiphanies going off in people's head. They made confused faces, then concerned faces. I could hear the girl's stomach gurgle. She was sickened, disgusted that a zombie would be interested in her, and they all realized at the same time that all I wanted was the girl. I didn't want the girl for food. I wanted the girl for myself, for love, for lust, for companionship, for remembering what it was to have these feelings, something like a high school romance gone wrong, except it was sickening, and it occurred to me just how disgusting I must look, and how awful I am, and how I am the enemy, and I am the evil thing. Even more arguing ensues. This time they're all yelling, they're all shouting, they're all pointing guns at each other. The Spanish fellow draws his pistol again and aims at me, but is immediately shot in the back of the head by the girl, not the leader, not the bulldog. They weren't going to stop him. They were going to let him shoot me. But the girl who previously wanted me dead, the girl whose stomach gurgled and was sick when I said I was interested in her, she decided to kill another human to save a zombie, a freaky, scary-looking zombie. And she said that she wants to take me back, that she agrees with the blonde man, that maybe they can find a cure, maybe there's something interesting in my blood, maybe there's something they can learn, maybe I can be a weapon, maybe I can be useful, maybe something, but there's hope. There is hope in me, the same way as that there is hope in the leader who's dying. He's becoming pale at this point, and I can see the infection beginning to spread and change the color of his skin. His job being done now, he lays down, not really laying, mind you, taking a seat up against the wall, and asks us to wait. He says he wants to live again. He wants to come back like me. He wants to have his brain intact. He wants to be able to think. He wants to be able to walk through the hordes, to kill them one by one, night and day, no need for resting or anything else. And he looks at me and asks if he'll come back the same, if he'll come back with his mind, with his heart and his soul and intact. Instead of answering this time, I just say nothing. I just look at him with no expressions and say nothing. He knows what I want to say, but I don't have the heart to say it, and we wait. I don't know how long. I'm terrible at judging times, but in the fullness of time, he does pass. And when he does come back, unfortunately, it isn't the man I used to know. It's just another monster. So I do him the courtesy that he would have rather done to me, and I smash his head into the wall. The girl is sad. The bulldog shows no emotion again, but he grumbles a bit, doesn't like the situation. And there we are, just the three of us. The girl for whom I lust, the man who says nothing, whose emotions I can't judge, and we are running out of time because the sun is beginning to set. The girl says to me that it's time to leave, and we step into the city again, and that is where the dream is over, ladies and gentlemen. I thought it was an interesting story. I hope that you enjoyed it. Unfortunately, at this point, the story can't go on because that's all that I experienced. I guess I could make stuff up if I wanted to, but I don't know if you would be interested in that. Hope you enjoyed the dream, and I hope you found it entertaining. Drifter out.